In this video, we'll look at creating a glass filled with juice. Numpad 7 for top view. Move the cursor to the right side of the plate and hold the Shift key and right-click to move the 3D cursor. Press Shift plus a keys and add a cylinder. Scaled it down 0.025 meters. Numpad 3 for side view. Press Command or Control plus a keys and apply scale. Press G plus Z key and drag mouse to move the cylinder above the table. Tab into Edit mode. Select only the top face. Press X and select Faces in the Delete menu. Press Numpad 1 for front view. Press Option plus Z keys for X-ray mode. Change the selection mode to Edge and select the top edge loop. Press G plus Z keys and drag the mouse as shown to increase the height. Let's switch back the transform pivot point to median point. Press / for frame selection. Press E to extrude and right-click, then press S and scale inward as shown here. Numpad 1 for front view. Press E plus Z keys and extrude downward by dragging the mouse. Inset the selected face a bit. Then add a grid fill and offset to align edges with the axis. Now select the faces on the top with Option plus left click. Numpad 1 for front view. Press S key and Shift plus Z keys to restrict scaling to X and Y axes. Tab back to Object mode. Add a bevel modifier. Adjust the bevel settings as shown here. Press Command or Control plus 2 keys to add a subdivision surface modifier. Now let's add the glass material to this object. Switch to Material Preview. Setting Metallic to 1 and Roughness to 0 makes the object look metallic. Press / key to unhide the rest. Add a mirror modifier to replicate the glasses next to all the plates as shown here. Press / key to frame selected glass object. Click on the monitor icon on Mirror Modifier to hide it for now. Click on the bottom left editor icon and choose Shader Editor. In Principled BSDF node, set transmission weight to 1. Press Shift plus A and type Mix Shader and add a Mix Shader node between Principled BSDF and Material Output. Click and drag the second Mix Shader input and add a transparent BSDF node. Adjust Mix Shader Factor as shown here. Press Shift plus a keys and add a Fresnel node. Connect its factor output to factor input of mix shader. Adjust the IOR in the Fresnel node as shown here. Press Shift plus a keys and add a color ramp node between Fresnel and mix shader node. Adjust the black color to a lighter shade of gray. Slightly darken the white color ramp. Adjust the Fresnel and color ramp as shown here. Go to Render Properties and enable Ray Tracing. Go to Material Properties and set Render Method to Blended. The glass is now complete. Next, we'll add juice to the glass. Press /key to hide the rest. Press Shift plus D keys and right-click to duplicate the glass. Rename the objects to glass and juice respectively. Select the juice object and hide the glass object. Go to Material Properties and delete the existing glass material and add a new juice material. Adjust the base color as shown here. Adjust transmission weight and metallic and roughness properties as shown here. Now tab into Edit mode. Set Viewport Shading to Solid mode. Select the inner faces of the juice object as shown. Press X and choose Faces in Delete menu to delete the selected faces. Press the number 2 key for edge selection mode. Press Option key and left-click on the bottom edge to select the bottom loop. Press E to extrude and right-click. Press S key to scale and Shift plus Z keys to restrict scale to X and Y axes. Add a grid fill to the selected edge loop. Now, press Option and left-click on the top edge of the juice object and press F to make face. Press I and inset as shown here. Inset once again, add a grid fill and adjust offset of grid fill to align with the axis. Unhide the glass object in the outliner and set the viewport shading to Material Preview. Numpad 7 for top view and scale down the juice object as shown here. Scale down until the juice object is barely touching the inside wall of the glass object. Press / to unhide all. Depending on your computer, you can adjust the glass settings to make it appear more realistic. Now the breakfast table setup is complete. Let's add a camera now. Zoom out and pan the breakfast table and press Ctrl plus Alt or Option plus numpad 0 keys to frame the view. Click on the lock icon below the camera on the right-hand side and further adjust the camera to frame the breakfast table properly. Thank you for watching. In the next video, we'll look at creating walls and windows.